Hi there, art enthusiasts. I'm artist Lillian Gray, and today I've got something exciting to share with you. Get ready to meet the vibrant South African artist known as Lady Skollie. We have two videos on this remarkable artist. The previous one deals with more hard-hitting subjects and artworks, and this one focuses on how Lady Skollie incorporates the Khoisan religion and culture into her artworks. Oh, and by the way, I've got some awesome worksheets related to Lady Skollie available on my Teachers Pay Teachers store. They're designed for different ages and are loads of fun to do, so make sure to check them out. Lady Skollie is a renowned South African artist. She gained popularity for her large, bright artworks that sparks conversations and challenges people's beliefs. She has a unique art style that draws inspiration from Khoisan cave paintings. Her work draws inspiration from her personal experiences as well as South African history, politics, social issues, and her Khoisan heritage. Lady Skollie was born in 1987 in Cape Town, South Africa, as Laura Windvogel. Over the years, she crafted her art name Lady Skollie. The name is a complete oxymoron. Lady refers to European conventions, especially the expectations placed on women in British society. Skollie is a word used to describe a male person of mixed race in South Africa who is an outcast, an uncouth thief, or a thug. This combination of lady and Skollie refers to the tension and struggles that shaped the Cape-coloured community in South Africa throughout its history. Growing up in the new South Africa, in the Cape-coloured community, came with various labels and stereotypes. She was eager to understand what being coloured truly meant. She studied her Khoisan ancestry and was keen to reclaim her heritage. Get ready to explore the 5 ways in which Lady Skollie honors the Khoisan culture in her artworks. Number 1. Storytelling. The Khoisan religion strongly relies on the power of storytelling and oral traditions. Folk tales are passed down through generations, conveying important moral and spiritual lessons while preserving cultural heritage. And this is ultimately what Lady Skollie is all about. She is a storyteller. Through her art, she delves into the history of the coloured people of South Africa, sharing its pain and its victories. It is a complex history, but here is a brief overview. The coloured people of South Africa were formed over many years and have diverse ancestry. However, it all started with the Khoisan tribes in southern Africa. The Khoisan is a collective term used to refer to a collection of tribes. Some of the tribes were cattle herders, such as the Khoikhoi or Khoikhoi, and some gatherers, such as the San. The word San means people who pick things up from the ground. It refers to the nomadic lifestyle of living off the land. Khoikhoi means men of men, or could be translated to the real people. Together these words formed Khoisan. Genetic analysis has revealed that the Khoisan are one of the oldest people on Earth, if not the oldest. They are often described as the world's first or oldest race, and the first people of South Africa. It is believed that these Khoisan tribes have populated southern Africa for up to 140,000 years, and maybe even more. The Khoisan was first forced to move further south by the Bantu expansion. Then the Age of Discovery followed, during which seafarers from a number of European countries explored the New World. Ships started to arrive in the Cape from the Portuguese and the Dutch. The first European settlement in South Africa was established by the Veer in Cape Town in 1652. It was created to supply passing ships with fresh produce. The colony grew quickly and Dutch farmers moved in. As the Dutch took over more and more land to farm, the Khoisan tribes were dispossessed. Some were exterminated by systematic commando raids organized to kill Khoisan. Others were incorporated into colonial society as domestic servants and farm laborers. So their numbers dwindled. Interactions between the Dutch, British settlers, Khoisan, and the neighbouring Bantu populations led to a unique mixed-race community known as the Cape Coloureds. Enslaved individuals from Malaysia, Indonesia, Madagascar, and India were also brought in by the British, further adding to the diverse ancestry of the Cape Coloured population. Once slavery was abolished, there was still segregation, with a clear differentiation between the races. This eventually became the oppressive apartheid regime. During apartheid, people were separated into 4 different racial classes: white, coloured, black, and Asian. Each class had different rules and regulations and different experiences under the oppressive apartheid regime. To this day, in South Africa, we differentiate between black people and coloured people. In her own words, Lady Skollie says, "I know the term coloured can be seen as derogatory to some, but we still use it here." 1994 marked the fall of apartheid, and a new South Africa was born. Previously suppressed cultures were now allowed to flourish. Throughout colonialism and apartheid, many stories were whitewashed, told from the dominant white government's perspective. With her artworks, Lady Skollie sheds light onto various historical moments, forcing viewers to reframe them and uncover details that used to be covered up. Examples are artworks depicting influential Khoisan women such as Krutua and Sarah Baartman, and the devastating impact of the dopstelsel that alcohol had on the coloured people of South Africa. She does not hero worship the arrival of the Dutch, but instead highlights the destruction they caused to the Khoisan culture. She also focuses on problems within her community and in South Africa in general. Even though her art style draws from the world's oldest race, the Khoisan, her messages are current. She is a feminist and activist. Much of her work concerns women rising above abuse and saying no to violence. Lady Skollie's art is this unique fusion of humour, violence against women, Khoisan heritage, and the destruction of colonialism and apartheid. She describes her own work as fire, ritual, Khoisan. And this leads me to point number 2, Khoisan cave paintings. The Khoisan is synonymous with cave paintings done in rich earth tones. Khoisan cave paintings can be found throughout most of southern Africa and as far north as Tanzania. The highest concentration of them is in South Africa. The cave paintings are stylized and share some distinct characteristics. It was believed that many of these cave paintings depicted hunting scenes, but in fact, hunting scenes are actually quite scarce. Anthropologists now believe they are a product of religion, drawings of shamanistic rituals, only displaying animals with a special spiritual significance to the Khoisan. Many of these cave paintings show lines of processions, people gathering for rituals, dances, and social occasions. Some drawings depict figures that are half human, half animal, such as men with eland heads or men with praying mantis arms. Figures that are half animal, half human hybrids are called therianthropes. Men are generally depicted carrying a bow and arrow or a hunting bag. Their calves tend to be pronounced. Women's bums and thighs are emphasized, and they often carry digging sticks. Animals are always drawn from the side to identify the species quickly and are hardly ever seen lying down. Lady Skollie incorporates some of these traits into her depiction of her figures, generally using side views, elongated arms and legs with well-defined calves and bums. However, she also incorporates her own elements. Usually Khoisan paintings omit faces, whereas Lady Skollie depicts them clearly to convey various emotions, which aids her storytelling. In some cases, she also adds extra limbs. A beautiful example of her honouring Khoisan cave paintings is her design of the 5 Rand coin. In 2019, she was commissioned to design money commemorating the 25th anniversary of South Africa's democracy. Her design mimics the iconic photos of South Africans standing in long meandering queues in the country's first democratic election. Lady Skollie's design depicts Khoisan figures standing in line for the ballot box. She adds to her message by saying, "The thing I want people to know about queuing is that one day they will be in front." When it gets to the use of colour, Lady Skollie tends to break away from her ancestors' influence. Khoisan paintings are usually done in earth tones such as ochres, reds, oranges, and yellows. Lady Skollie often depicts some of her central figures in orange. However, her art is mainly known for its bright, vibrant, bold use of colour. She loves modern fuchsia pink, neon greens, and lumo yellows combined with ultramarine blues and a stark black, creating high contrast images. While the Khoisan had limited art supplies, Lady Skollie combines watercolours, acrylic paint, ink, crayons, collages, and even gold leaf to create her striking works. Sometimes Lady Skollie paints large murals on gallery walls. This echoes the Khoisan cave paintings that are found in small shelters or rock overhangs. She says, "I am creating works based on the traditions of the Khoisan storytelling. imagining a world of cave drawings depicting our pain. As a Khoisan coloured woman, I really like mark making. I think it's in my blood. I want to have something tangible that I created in that space. To her, it's all about reclaiming the space, standing up and saying, I was here. Often these murals are site-specific, meaning that the location is important and aids to the message. Her famous work, known as Queen Mother, was painted in London. It's a massive Khoisan queen invading the gallery. The location is noteworthy since it was in London that an influential Khoisan woman, Sarah Bartman, was paraded as a freak show attraction. With this work, Lady Skollie returns as a Khoisan descendant, a queen, a mother, victorious, despite colonialism. She says, I want my drawings to represent giant pop culture cave drawings, a representation of what could have been if we were not eradicated into the earth. When studying Khoisan cave paintings, you will soon spot various types. There are fine line drawings, engravings, and prints. One can draw parallels between these traditional Khoisan techniques and some of Lady Skollie's art techniques. When dating Khoisan cave paintings, one can gradually see the loss of skills over the years. The older cave paintings use fine line quality that required highly skilled painters. Later, the paintings become rough and unrefined. It appears that, as pressure was exerted onto the culture, the quality and the skill of these cave paintings diminished. It started with fine line paintings and progressed to crude finger paintings once the settlers invaded their lands. In a way, Lady Skollie is a contemporary cave painter. Lots of the old cave painting skills are now lost, but she is injecting modern methods into this old craft. Number 3. Pattern, repetition, rhythm, trance. Khoisan religious practices often involve rituals, dances, and trance-like states that allow individuals to connect with the spiritual realm. These rituals are typically performed by shamans or spiritual leaders who act as mediators between the community and the spiritual world. The shamans are believed to have the ability to communicate with the divine, interpret signs and omens, and provide guidance and healing to their communities. The dances typically take a circular form, with women clapping and singing and men dancing rhythmically. When entering a trance state, hallucinations occur. Lady Skollie often incorporates these Khoisan rituals into her art. We can spot the stylized Khoisan figures from cave paintings gathering in a few artworks, sometimes participating in trance dances. She mimics the dance by creating rhythm in her art, drawing repetitive patterns. By repeating the same action over and over and over again, she enters a state of calm, a space where creativity simply flows freely. Number 4. Religion and mythology. Lady Skollie often depicts Khoisan religion in her artworks. When referring to Khoisan religion, please remember there is considerable diversity within the different Khoisan tribes and beliefs can vary among regions. There are, however, coherent themes and deities, but some details and symbolism may differ. The Khoisan creation story is quite unique, since there was a pre-existing world before the one we know today. In the beginning, there was a magical world hidden beneath the earth. The supreme being that created all life is known as Kachin or Ikachin. He is known as a trickster god with both creative and mischievous qualities. He can appear in many forms, such as an eland bull, snake, or a caterpillar, but is most often depicted as a praying mantis. In this realm, people and animals lived in harmony. They could communicate fluently. They could also shapeshift. For example, a human could take on the shape and energy of a rabbit, and vice versa. Even though peace reigned supreme, Kachin had big plans for the world above. He wanted to build an even better world for his people. So on the top layer of earth, he started by creating a massive tree with its branches stretched out across the land. He also created the sun to provide light. He was delighted with his work and ready to show his people. So he dug a hole at the base of the trunk and started to lead the people to the new world. Excitedly, he beckoned the first man to climb up to the hole and sit at the edge. In no time, the first woman emerged too, and soon all the people gathered at the foot of the magnificent tree. They were amazed at the new world they had entered, and their eyes were wide with wonder. Next, he helped the animals climb out of the hole, But some were super eager and they found a way to scamper up the tree trunk and into the branches. And to this day, these animals live in treetops. Eventually, all the animals made their way to the world above, bursting with excitement. Khoisan gathered everyone and gave them an important instruction. Live together in harmony. And then he added a special warning. Then he told them to never build any fires, no matter how cold it gets. Otherwise, a terrible evil would befall them. They promised to obey, and Khoisan left to watch over his creation secretly. As evening approached, the sun started to sink beneath the horizon. The people and animals stood there, watching this incredible phenomena unfold. But when the sun disappeared, fear crept into their hearts. Without the keen eyes of the animals, the people could no longer see each other, and they became really, really cold since they didn't have any fur. In their desperation, one man suggested to build a fire to keep warm, and they quickly kindled one. The warmth enveloped them, and miraculously they could see each other again. However, the fire frightened the animals, causing them to flee with anxiety to the safety of the caves. And from that day on, communication between humans and animals was severed. From now on, man had to hunt for food, trekking over miles and miles of desert to find the animals. The animals and humans could also no longer shapeshift into each other's forms. The people who were in a state of shapeshifting at the time became trapped in the animal form. Fear took over the place where friendship once thrived. It was a sad outcome of the people's disobedience, and they deeply regretted their actions. There are so many Khoisan stories, all teaching lessons or sharing new insights. Now that you know the Khoisan creation story, let's get back to Lady Skollie's artworks. This Lady Skollie artwork is called Khoisan, speaking to the people from the sky. We see Khoisan descending to earth in the form of a snake, leading his people. Here we see Khoisan as a flaming, praying mantis. He seems fierce and enraged with multiple arms and gold-tipped claws, ready to strike and impale someone. In the artwork called The Burning Bush, always good enough to make a change, small enough to doubt the change, Lady Skollie combines Khoisan's tree with Moses' burning bush from the Bible. All of these artworks seems to be about Khoisan's disapproval of the state of his people and have a central theme of leading them once again to a better place. Lady Skollie also incorporates other symbols from Khoisan religion, such as the moon or the night sky. One of the Khoisan stories tell how Khoisan created the moon by tossing his own shoe into the sky. And the sun became jealous of the moon and started chasing it across the sky with a knife, slowly carving away at it and only leaving the backbone for the children. However, the moon had resurrection powers and was reborn every 28 days. The moon in Lady Skollie's artwork is usually a symbol of rebirth. She also often paints the night sky filled with stars. In the Khoisan religion, the Milky Way is formed by a girl throwing fire ash into the sky. She does this so people can still see a little bit at night when the moon is carved to only a slither. There are multiple Khoisan stories about how certain stars were formed, and they often offer guidance to their people. To the Khoisan, water also holds resurrection qualities. In one of the stories, Khoisan's grandson is murdered by a troop of baboons. The baboons start playing ball with the grandson's eye. Khoisan tricks the baboons by pretending to play with them and proceeds to steal the eyeball. He throws the eyeball into the water, and his grandson emerges alive and restored. And yes, his grandson is a meerkat. Remember, the gods can still shapeshift. In a different tale, Khoisan resurrects an ostrich by laying one of its feathers in a pool of water, and soon a baby ostrich is born. Lady Skollie also uses water as a symbol in her artwork, depicting both the peril of drowning and the call to initiate a resurrection and a new beginning. Khoisan's most beloved creature is the eland, which was also created using resurrection power of water. Khoisan took his son-in-law's shoe and dropped it into a pool of water, and soon a beautiful eland emerged. Khoisan fed it honey and rubbed its skin in it, giving it its magnificent color. In the Khoisan religion, the eland holds significant cultural and spiritual importance for the Khoisan people. It is considered one of the most sacred and revered animals in their traditional beliefs and practices. By looking closer at this artwork of Lady Skollie, we can spot these hybrid people that are half eland, half human. She also incorporated the eland into her collaborative light sculpture installed at the Spear Wine Farm in 2022. She explained the installation as follows: a nightlight to calm the energy of this valley, a nightlight to calm history's bad vibes, a totem of memory, glowing from the past but bathing the future in light. Our shadows far behind us, the eland, the snake, the ostrich, the walker, a tower of what was here, not yet disturbed. The Khoisan have a well-known healing dance. It's not only for personal healing, but also for community healing. In some ways, Lady Skollie has become like a shaman for her people. Various artworks by Lady Skollie seeks healing for the collective trauma of the coloured people of South Africa. An example of this is her exhibition in Birmingham, England, called Weakest Link. Birmingham is where many slave chains and collars were manufactured for the African slave trade. In her exhibition, she drew chains, but with one link broken. One person breaks free, taking their freedom and shaping a new identity for themselves. Like a shaman, she is channeling a new way of seeing, acknowledging the past, but looking forward to shaping a better future. Her 2023 exhibition called Groot Gat, which translates into Gaping Hole, is about a massive loss of culture felt by many black and coloured people in South Africa. Oppression, colonialism, and apartheid left this enormous hole and gaps in her culture and history. She explains, as a child, I would ask my elders about where we came from and how we came to be. And I would be sent from elder to another, each saying they can't remember. From those conversations, I would pick up pain in their voices. The exhibition imagines an alternative reality for the Khoisan. It's about a natural sinkhole that is filled with water in the Northern Cape of South Africa called Bushman's Gat, Bushman's Hole. Inside, Lady Skollie imagines a deity called Dada. She has named a deity after this Khoisan artist, who also goes by the name Dada. In Lady Skollie's exhibition, Dada sits inside Bushman's Gat, painting massive cave paintings, luring people to jump into the hole. The souls that perish are collected by a water girl that takes the shape of a mermaid who draws strength from the lost souls. Lady Skollie explains, at the end of my Groot Gat is a surprise, because it's not a dark, evil space. It's actually a place where the fantasy is real, a place where being coloured or brown is not a culture that's nipped in the bud, a place where everything has extended and evolved to a point where cave drawings are large, our identities are intact, and we know where we are coming from and where we are going. This exhibition also seems to draw inspiration from African mythology. Lady Skollie's water girl bears some similarities to Mami Wata, a water goddess revered in North Africa. Mami Wata is known for abducting people while they are swimming or boating. She brings them to paradise, a realm which is underwater. Should she allow them to leave, the travelers usually return in dry clothing and with a new spiritual understanding. The people that do return seem to grow wealthier and more attractive. This specific series of Lady Skollie links to the philosophies of Afrofuturism. Afrofuturism imagines an alternative future for people of color. While Afrofuturism is most commonly associated with science fiction, it can also encompass other speculative genres such as fantasy, alternate history, and magical realism. Lady Skollie gets emotional when she speaks about the responsibility she feels towards her community. She says it's our responsibility to give other people something to resolve, and I think that's what my work is about. An opportunity I can give my people to resolve things that have been plaguing them. Her artwork titled Good and Evil, Askans teen die donker, Protection Against the Dark. I collect them all together under my arms, lifting us all up together, up and away from the past. She depicts herself with long arms, covering a community of many who are cocooned in her shelter. Number 5. Harmony with nature, or should I rather say disharmony with nature. The Khoisan religion is characterized by a strong connection to the natural world and a deep reverence for the land, plants, animals, and ancestral spirits. It emphasizes the interdependency and interconnectedness of all living things and places great importance on maintaining harmony and balance in the world. They are often lauded for their incredible knowledge of animal behavior, environment, and especially plants. Lady Skollie often draws various plants and herbs, referring to her ancestors' in-depth understanding of nature. However, by looking closely, you will quickly realize it's not in harmony with nature, but in disharmony. Here, one plant is dying. This one has nails hammered into it. These sunflower stems are woven into slave chains, and a severed flower is dripping with blood. The titles of these artworks reveal they are weeds and not nurturing medicinal plants. The one work is titled Onkruid vergaan nie, which translates into weeds do not die. This could refer to how views of coloured people have changed over the centuries and the various times they have been dispossessed of their land and housing. First, there was the Bantu expansion, then colonialism, removing them from their land to create space for farming. But later during apartheid, there was the forceful removal of the Cape Coloured community in District 6. District 6 was a thriving mixed-race community at the foot of Table Mountain in the heart of Cape Town. The apartheid government declared it a whites-only area and forced all the other people to move out. They eventually sent in bulldozers to demolish everyone's houses so they could build a nice area for white people only. All the people of colour had to move to a new housing project situated on the Cape Flats. The Cape Flats was a horrible sandy land and almost uninhabitable. Today, the Cape Flats is one of the most violent and dangerous places in South Africa. Serious social problems include a high rate of unemployment and high levels of gang activity. To some, these coloured communities are seen as a nuisance rather than an asset to society. Onkruid, weed. And like weed, when plucked, new seeds are sown and it just keeps growing and flowering all over the place. Lady Skollie's artworks are saying no matter how many times her people are removed, plucked out or suppressed, they will just keep on growing and flowering. And that concludes the video on 5 ways in which Lady Skollie honours the Khoisan culture in her artworks. Just a quick recap to refresh your memory. She continues the tradition of Khoisan storytelling by telling the stories of her people. She mimics cave paintings in style and by painting on walls and reclaiming spaces. She enters a trance state by using pattern and repetition. She often references Khoisan religion and mythology, as well as the Khoisan's deep understanding of nature in her artworks. I'm artist Lillian Gray, and I love teaching art and art history. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss out on any of my new videos. This is a reminder that you can shop various worksheets for all ages online on our Teachers Pay Teachers website. Connect with us on social media and let us know what you thought of this video. Until next time.